What would be the ages of these girls that are rescued?
So they're all underage. So the youngest of them that Andrew actually picked up and carried out was 11.
Oh my goodness.
As is typical of a rescuee, a lot of times they think, because this is what they've been told by their pimp, their brothel owner, whatever, that he's in love with her and baby, we're doing this together, so on and so forth, all that garbage and lies. And so one of our young ladies actually thought that her pimp was in love with her, and so she saved up her money and actually went back to him. Well, she pretty quickly realized that he wasn't after he beat her up and put her in the hospital for a week. And what God is doing is, in the restoration side of everything, it's actually been absolutely fantastic. It's been absolutely beautiful.
I just wanted to say, myself, I was trafficked. It's part of my testimony, and it's part of my redemption story from being 4 or 5 years old, trafficked by my mother. And what you're doing is so incredibly moving and inspiring. It's so important that we have strong male leaders, Christian males, that will stand up for the rights of not just our young women, but our children, period.
The reason that Teshua exists is because he and his team over the last 3 years has been rescuing girls out of sex trafficking. His team gets the girls into a rescue and rehab house where all their mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual needs are all met. They're given crisis pregnancy counseling if they need it. They're given an education. But then most importantly, or one of the most important things, is they're given hope, because they're given the opportunity to learn how to make crafts like bracelets and coasters and harvest and process tea and harvest and process coffee. And then what we do is we come alongside of them and we purchase these products from the girls, thereby giving them economic empowerment so that they don't have to end up being a victim again. We give them the hope and we give them the economic footing that they need so that when they leave our rescue and rehab facility, they're able to stand on their own. So that's why your support of Teshua Tea Company is so important. Thank you for helping us to support these girls. Thank you for helping us to bring hope and change into their lives. I hope you'll check out our products. They're absolutely beautiful products, fantastic world-class teas. They're made by wonderful young ladies that are really getting a brand new lease on life and a start in life.
With Purpose, making the most out of our time, talent, and treasure. I'm Kara.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we have an incredible guest with us. He's doing amazing things for the kingdom of God. This is Brad Hopp. And in 2017, Brad experienced God's healing power and the love of the community of believers around him. Once fully recovered from an accident, he was eager to minister to others and share with them the same love he had received. So, Brad, I know you're going to talk to us a little bit about Samaritan Ministries and the work that you do there, and then, of course, your tea company as well that's doing amazing things through helping trafficking victims. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background, the accident in 2017, and what led up to this work that you're doing.
So I grew up on a dairy farm in northwest Iowa and have been around tractors all my life and probably have a little less fear of them than I should have. But anyway, I live out on US Highway 20 here, and I barrel rolled my tractor sideways down into the ditch from 6 feet up on the shoulder of the road.
Wow.
And it landed on my pelvis. Still in drive, the rear passenger's tire was the one that landed on me, and it was still in drive, and I reached up and found the axle blind, couldn't see it, I'm laying on my side, and I push, and I have probably 3 or 4 inches to push at most.
Wow.
And the whole tractor just goes hop and pops off of me, and I crawl out 5 or 6 feet away with a broken pelvis, and so I knew right away that I had a broken pelvis, and that the situation wasn't really good. But living on Highway 20, somebody came down the road, saw me go over, and so they stopped, and the the miracles that we had that day were just amazing. We had the firefighters were all at our local fire department ready to go do a controlled burn. They're all volunteers, not normally at the firehouse. The EMTs were all there. The ambulance crews were all there. I mean, everybody was there ready and waiting to go because they were going to go do this controlled burn. And so the first EMTs were to me within 7 minutes.
Wow.
So from that point forward, your injuries and everything that had happened in the hospital, give us a starting point from that point forward, what your experience was like with healthcare.
So Sioux City couldn't do my surgery, so they sent me to Omaha because I had a complex compound pelvic fracture, and so they sent me down to Omaha. And I ended up with one of the top 2 surgeons in the nation doing my type of surgery, and it was absolutely fantastic. We were down at UNMC, and then Samaritan just stepped up and helped out. I'm 100%. And the whole medical bill was like about $150,000 in total. That's the surgery, it's 2 weeks of rehab and everything, and it was about $150,000. Samaritan helped us negotiate it down, and then our portion of it was about $300.
Wow. Hey, you're convincing me to use this instead of my own health care. Wow. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that lifted a big burden,
we've
right?
been with Samaritan huge, because it was even the portion after they whittled it all down and everything, even the portion that the Samaritan members still had to cover was, I don't remember if it was 75 or 120, somewhere in there. It was a lot. But Samaritan members all just stepped up and helped out. And one of the things that I really appreciate about Samaritan is that when I was going through this whole time, we're getting cards and letters and people that I don't even know and will probably never meet this side of heaven were sending cards and letters and saying, hey, we're praying for you. Hey, we're with you and stuff. And here's our share of your medical bills and stuff. And so the way Samaritan works is you actually only send one of your payments a year to the company. All the rest of your payments go to direct to a member. So 11 payments a year go direct to a member. So I know from a Christian standpoint and I try to guard where my money goes standpoint, I know that my money is going direct to another member.
So tell me, since the accident, whenever you went through that, what spurred you to want to help others? Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you're doing?
Yeah. So at the time I was delivering fire trucks all over the country, and I just knew I wanted to get out of the fire trucks. And so I have a friend of mine named Andrew who's a missionary in communist Asia, and he and the team were rescuing girls out of trafficking. They're working with underground Bible schools. They're working with leper villages, the impoverished all over. And I really wanted to, I've always had a heart for missions. And Andrew one night was at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, was sharing some of the bracelets on Facebook that the girls were making that him and the team were rescuing. And I was like, I could start Brad's little bracelet shop, and I could start marketing these on Amazon and whatever. And then as the process went along, we're like, I want to make more of a difference in this. So Andrew and I talked about it. We decided at the time that we would just split the profits, and his portion would go back to the rescue mission. And as time progressed even further, I'm like, I really want to do even more with this. So I actually turned over my portion of the ownership to our nonprofit, Yeshua International. And then Yeshua International now has the ability of running our tea shop, running all the online stuff that we do, but then 100% of our profits are able to go back to the rescue mission and or other rescue missions and operations that we can work with eventually.
100%. That is astounding. You do not hear that every day. And of course, I know it probably takes a lot to run this establishment, this ministry. So exactly how much does it cost to keep, everything running?
Okay, so just the rescue houses alone are over $23,000 a month. Just the 2 rescue houses that we have. We currently have 2 rescue houses with 4 female staff, 2 of whom are earlier rescuees. And then we have 38 girls still under our care. So you have food, you have shelter, you have clothing, you have absolutely everything that they need. And then where we come in, or where I come in, is we buy the products, the tea, the bracelets, the coasters, the coffee, those things that they're harvesting. We buy those from them up front and bring it stateside, and then I do all the roasting, order fulfillment, and all that stuff. And then our profits are going back to the rescue mission. Now we are trying to expand. We're currently in the fundraiser stage of the giving section of a fundraiser right now, where we're actually working on getting into a high-end hotel in Sioux City, Iowa,
Oh,
that has some retail space on their main floor, where we would be able to open a tea and coffee shop and have the roastery in there, and be able to have people come in and just watch us roast, watch the process, and then at the same time, through the artwork in the facility, be able to see the stories of the girls, see the rescues, and real subtly be able to hear the gospel in a real practical way, because they're seeing it. They're seeing these girls get rescued. They're seeing where they're at now, how they're becoming licensed insurance agents or beauty salon operators, and the different success stories that we have.
well, it's
So
incredible.
Right. So tell me, Brad, are you able to speak to any of these girls? Are you able to ever see them? Or is this just by notes, or by one person who actually is running the homes?
So Andrew has always been my point of contact thus far, partially because of COVID, partially because of just finances and stuff. I do hope to get over there very soon. I'll go over as a tea buyer, and but I want to meet with the girls and see what their operation over there is like in more in detail. But we have some opportunities with other countries as well, so we want to be able to get into those countries.
Now, I can imagine with the climate of these countries, or this country that, your homes are in currently. I know that we're not going to give away the location for protection and safety, but what are some struggles and some conflicts that arise? Because I'm sure that not everyone is happy that you're there, that you're doing this work, because you're helping to change the culture, and you're also bringing with you the gospel. So can you tell us a little bit about some of those struggles? Because as the hands and feet of Jesus, we know that we are going to come up against opposition.
So one of the girls, because like I said, we're buying the products from them up front. So one of the girls, as is typical of a rescuee, a lot of times they think, because this is what they've been told by their pimp, their brothel owner, whatever, that he's in love with her, and baby, we're doing this together, so on and so forth, all that garbage and lies. And so one of our young ladies actually thought that her pimp was in love with her, and so she saved up her money and actually went back to him. Well, she pretty quickly realized that he wasn't, after he beat her up and put her in the hospital for a week. And he followed her back to one of Andrew's Bible schools, and somewhere along the line, we must have somebody higher up in the police department that must know something. We don't know who this person is. But this brothel owner called some of his corrupt police buddies and some of his goon friends, and they came to bust the place up and go after Andrew. Well,
Wow.
somebody higher up in the police department found out about it, sent another department to arrest Andrew, got him out of there. That caused everybody else to scatter. So they put him up in the jail for the night, and they had to take him out the back door of this jail at midnight. And he's just thinking, nothing leaves the back door of this country's prisons at midnight in an unmarked squad car that ever ends well.
Right.
I am done for, And they actually took him to a hotel and put him up for the night and let everything blow over, and then told him the next day, And I remember that. I remember very clearly praying for him, and I remember when all that came down and stuff, and
Wow,
what it was
praise
like.
God.
So it was pretty nerve-wracking.
So, what are the ages? Just so our viewers know, what would be the ages of these girls that are rescued?
So they're all underage. So the youngest of them that Andrew actually picked up and carried out was 11.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, I have an 11-year-old daughter, so that when
Right, right. No, I have two daughters
that one
myself,
sits a little
and
home.
that's tough.
Yes.
I have 6 kids total, but we have an 8-year-old, an 11-year-old, and then a 16-year-old. And in this country, you actually age out of the adoption system or the foster care system at 14. So the girls that age out of this foster care system, they're totally unprepared, and they're expected to live on the streets and figure it out.
Right.
You figure out what you need to do to survive. And they're not willing participants. They're girls that are kidnapped, sold into it,
Yeah.
brutalized and stuff. But with the gospel and what God is doing is in the restoration side of everything, it's actually been absolutely fantastic. It's been absolutely beautiful.
On a personal note, Brad, I just wanted to say myself, I was trafficked. It's part of my testimony, and it's part of my redemption story from being 4 or 5 years old, trafficked by my mother. And what you're doing is so incredibly moving and inspiring. It's so important that we have strong male leaders, Christian males, that will stand up for the rights of not just our young women, but our children, period. Because this world does not belong to the Lord. It belongs to the enemy. He's working daily, and he wants to attack what is most important to us, and it's children, and it's their innocence, because it's what the Lord values the very, very most, in his creation. So I just, from me to you, from my family and to yours, I just really appreciate what you're doing, and God bless you.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
Sorry to interrupt that moment. That's a powerful moment, Brad. I'm sorry to interrupt it there. So Brad, let me ask this. So you are perhaps maybe getting into this hotel, this high-end hotel, and I just want to touch back on that because I think it's a really cool idea. It not only spreads the gospel, it also tells the story of these girls. And so I'm assuming those would be American workers, and they're really just having the products that you are producing and then telling the story. Am I getting that right?
Right.
Awesome.
Right. And so one of the nice parts about this hotel is it's actually a Marriott Autograph Series hotel. But for those of you that are not travelers and don't understand what an Autograph Series hotel is, that's like their boutique style hotels. It's something that's not. You're not just going to go to the next town over and see the same style of hotel. This is the hotel that was built in the 20s. It was Art Deco. It fell into disrepair in the 70s in Sioux City, and a company out of St. Louis bought it, rehabbed it, did an absolutely fantastic job. It's absolutely gorgeous. But there's some retail space on the main floor that we would be able to get into. And here's the cool thing. So if we can raise the funds for getting into the space and be able to go into the space free and clear, the hotel has offered us 6 years free rent if we do the build out on a 10-year lease. So we'd have 6 years to not having to pay any rent. We would have to pay the common area maintenance and stuff, but just being able to get into that facility and just using 1/5 of what I know most of the other roasters in our area are doing production-wise, just using their numbers and then taking it down by 4/5, so using just 1/5 of their whole production, we would be able to rescue an extra 140 girls a year and care for them on an ongoing basis.
Tell me, Brad. Just since we found out a little bit about what you do, or a great deal about what you do and how you do it. How can people support what you're doing? And really, before you answer that, is the support easy to find, or Can you weigh in on that a little bit, just so people understand the need?
Very important. Good job. Yeah.
So Andrew has been traveling all over the country. Something that I did not know, and I still would have stepped into it anyway, but something that the Lord didn't show me before I stepped into all this is the absolute, I, I have no other words for it, the absolute hell of a battle that you would go through on a personal level, on a financial level, when you really step up to the plate in this, you do go through attacks.
Yeah.
We've survived COVID, we've survived not being able to get product for 3 years, and all these things, and so yes and no. I mean, Andrew's been traveling all over, and support is there. He has the support to cover the rescue house right now and stuff, but there's been months where he's been short, and we're trying to, from the business side of it, we're trying to expand, and we're trying to just grow yet,
Right.
and be able to recover from COVID and everything else, and so we've taken the little we had saved up or whatever, and put it over to keeping the rescue houses going and stuff, and that just makes things tight on the business side and stuff. But what people can do to donate or support, there's actually several ways. We have on our teshuatea.com website, so that's TESHUAHTEA.com or deliverancetea.com. Both will take you to the same website. On there, under our Give tab, there is 2 sections. So on the first part of this page, there's a link that goes direct to the rescue house. I don't touch that. We don't touch it. It goes direct to the rescue house. It goes through Andrew. It goes right to the rescue house. Then down the page a little bit lower, people will see the fundraiser that we have going for the roaster.
Okay.
And it'll kind of give people an idea of what, there's a picture of what we kind of envision. It's not the actual location, but what we kind of envision for the space. But then there is also a link to our donor prospectus, and it shows a lot more detail of what we're doing, what we're trying to do, what are the actual dollars and cents on everything, what do we need for equipment, all that kind of stuff, and what are the actual, if we just take 1/5 of what everybody else in the area is doing for sales,
Right.
what's that look like for us, and what are we able to accomplish from there?
We're
Right.
definitely going to have to take a look at this donor prospectus and pass it on to Art Alley here he's our CEO at Timothy Plan. And one of the great things about Timothy Plan, and I don't know if you've heard of us,
appreciate it.
but we are a Christian mutual fund and ETF company, and we screen our funds according to biblical principles. So abortion, pornography, and human trafficking has also become something that we screen for and against. One thing that makes us exceptional is they try to give back. And so there are many different ministries that Timothy Plan and Timothy Partners gives to. And so I would love to be able to get a prospectus in front of him.
Oh. Okay, well, I appreciate it. So if you just go to teshuatea.com, you'll find it right there under our Give tab, and it's the finished donor prospectus. My wife actually runs our printing business, and so I have a little bit of an in with my printer.
Yeah. And
So
how about Samaritan
we'll be sending that off
Ministries?
to printer here soon.
If anyone was interested in finding out more about Samaritan and the healthcare aspect,
Definitely.
how can they find that information?
Yeah. So you want to, on that, you want to go to SamaritanMinistries.org.
Okay.
So it's SamaritanMinistries.org. Like I said, we've been with them since 2011.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, 2011 or 2010. I don't remember exactly the year that we joined, but it's been absolutely fantastic. Like I said, I always tell people you have to pry it out of my cold dead fingers. So.
Well, as we're wrapping up, is there anything
So,
else
I've
that
been-
you'd like
we've
to
been very
ask?
happy with it.
Anything that you...
I think we pretty much covered it.
I think we
Right?
have.
I think we pretty
we've
much covered it.
Well, thank you so much, Brad. This has really been enlightening. I feel that our viewers are going to gain a lot of insight from what you are doing with Teshua Tea Company and everything that you're doing with Samaritan Ministries as well. But we thank you. We thank you for all that you're doing, and we hope that God blesses you in this ministry.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Absolutely.
And thank you, everyone, once again for joining us on Invested with Purpose, making the most out of our time, talent, and treasure. We'll see you next time.
Invested with Purpose is brought to you by Timothy Partners Limited, advisor to the Timothy Plan Funds. Timothy Plan is a family of biblically responsible mutual funds and ETFs. For more information, please visit Timothy Plan's website at www.timothyplan.com. Some of our podcast guests may have a relationship with Timothy Partners Limited on behalf of Timothy Plan, including affiliations, partnerships, or sponsorships. However, guests are not compensated for their appearances, and their opinions do not constitute paid testimonials. Please be aware that investments carry risks and individual experiences may vary. Consult with a financial advisor for personalized advice. And remember to find us on all of the major social media platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
Navigating through investment options can be challenging, especially when you're determined to uphold your God-given values. Every dollar you invest is a vote for the world that you want to live in. Let your values guide your investment decisions and help to shape the culture in which we live. Become a beacon of light and pave the way with biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan, where faith and finance collide. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company. This and other important information can be found in the fund's prospectus. To obtain a copy, visit timothyplan.com or call 800-846-7526. Read each prospectus carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.